Hey everybody, welcome to What About the Game. So with the upcoming release of Criminal Girls 2 Party Favors, I decided to do a little preview of the game regarding my first couple of hours with it. Going into the game, I knew very little about it. I didn't play the original, I didn't even know what genre it was. The only thing I knew about it was that it was a little controversial with its content. I won't say adult content because it's more childish than anything, and the fact it was refused classification in Germany, so it can't be sold there. Needless to say, I was interested. I was mentally prepared for another Senran Kagura type of game where I could look past the fan service, weirdness, and just take the gameplay for what it is. If you don't know already, Criminal Girls 2 has something called motivation, which is a euphemism for torture, I would say, whereby you punish the girls following you via simple minigames in order to teach them new abilities. It's not just a side thing either, it seems to be essential for progressing in the game. I'm not finding it as awkward as I thought I would. I'm definitely not offended by it because, I'm not one of those people. I think the censorship, which I'm doing air quotations right now, makes it much better. Because I think the localization team have changed things to make it look like the girls are mutually consenting to what's happening, which, it makes you feel a lot more comfortable. Moving on from that section, which no doubt will get the most attention, let's talk about the main gameplay element, which is walking around the dungeons and fighting battles in a standard JRPG kind of way. So far, the dungeons themselves seem to be pretty unremarkable, quite flat pack. The corridors and rooms tend to be the same elements reposted and just switched around a little. Although it does seem like there might be a fair few environments the further you progress in the dungeon. The battles are really quite simplistic, and while they're enjoyable, I'm not sure the execution is as good as it could be. Out of the 7 girls at your disposal, you can have 4 in battle at once. Depending on how you motivate them, each of them have unique abilities from one another. For your turn in battle, you can only choose one girl to act. Each of the 4 girls in the battle only have one randomly selected ability of theirs that you can choose from. I'm not sure if I like the random nature of it, to be honest. It seems to be luck as to whether you get the right ability that you'd want from the girls. I think there is some situational nuance to it, as the game seems to be aware of when you do need a healing ability, so there is that. I'm still not sure if it was the best idea, rather than being able to choose any of the girls' abilities at any point. The story so far is really intriguing. I'm actually really looking forward to progressing further and further to see how it develops, because if you can suspend your disbelief for just a second, the concept is really neat. It's a very Japanese modern sci-fi premise, whereby delinquent girls who have died before they could become full convicts are sent to the Hellspire, which is like a limbo between hell and the real world. You are a program instructor who is sent to lead them back to the normal world and reformation, but something is not quite right. The administration of all of this is overtaken by convicts, and the Hellspire becomes like an emergency zone. You and your group are considered suspicious because instead of 6 girls stated in the records, you actually have 7 in tow, leading to the belief that one of them is a convict in disguise. All of you are immediately sent straight to hell and are tasked with leading the girls all the way back up to the Hellspire and to freedom. Now, I obviously haven't got too far into it as of yet, but I love the concept of climbing up all the stages of hell, and the idea of having a traitor in the group is pretty cool. I will say though that I don't know if it's a bait and switch with things or not, but I'm worried that at the moment it's a little too obvious who the real convict is. Saying that, maybe that's what the writers want me to think, but they just want to kind of fool me a little. I'm hoping so, because I think it'll be a lot more interesting. One thing I'm quite worried about is how bad the grinding will be, because while the normal battles have been pretty laid back and easy, the couple of boss fights that I've dealt with so far needed a lot of grinding in order to get anywhere near enough to being able to take them on. Leveling up and motivating your girls for abilities has been almost too much this far. I'm hoping that calms down as the game goes on. So anyways, so far I'm quite enjoying Criminal Girls 2. I'm still not sure on a couple of things like the grinding and the random abilities given in battle, but the story has a lot of potential and I think it's got some room to develop. Keep an eye out for a full review closer to the game's release. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks guys, bye bye.